Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this runner, and it's really fuzzy, but he said it traces pretty good, but it messes up his hand, and wanted to know if I knew a better way to fix it. So it's pretty big, so I'm going to reduce it right here with my ratio lock, like to 25%. Going to make Corel have a little bit easier job to trace it, I think, or that's my belief. So I'm going to go outline, trace, clip art, trace it pretty quick. And you can see if we bring in a yellow box that it traced it and took away the background, order back a page, and you can see it's clear. And then we're going to look at it and you can see what he's talking about with his hand. And matter of fact, there's multiple colors of his hand. That really doesn't matter, but what we're going to do is take it and let's make a duplicate of it, move it over here, and then we're going to left click, right click, and that took away the fill. And you can see a couple of the problems with the hand itself. We're going to take away that line, take away that line, take away all the lines we don't need. We're going to go ahead, and I just noticed his nose looks a little funny. So we're going to take away that line. That way, when we smart fill it back, it'll be better. And you could work on the detail here, but we're just going to take away these lines where his shoelaces and his shoes. So if you smart filled it now, the bottom of the shoe wouldn't get filled right there. And sometimes you go a little bit too close and it'll take it away. And right there, and we need to round that off a little bit. And I'll go ahead and do that right now while we're here. I'm going to take the smoothing tool, set on something like 1/4 of an inch. And if you have, look how it smoothed out that foot. Well, it's not doing a very good job on the toe, so we'll take the shape tool. And we actually need to go to object and break it apart. Well, let's see what's going on here. Oh, you know what? I'm grabbing the yellow box as I'm doing it. The yellow box is great, but sometimes you click on it and you'll actually start getting so you need to click on the item, and probably now we need to go and break it apart. I should have probably had finish the other part first. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. Come on, zoom tool. The smoothing tool started at like 7 or above. Sometimes if you have that sharp point, it just won't work. Go back to your shape tool and take that one, and well, that might be the problem. That isn't connected. So let's go ahead and just kind of do what I should have done at first, is to smart fill it. And by smart filling, you're sealing up all those joints. Now I'm going to go ahead and make it a 1/2 inch line so we can see it. And now the smoothing tool will work, and it'll smooth out that toe, smooth out those laces. But what we need to do on his hand, and that was the main concern, my suggestion, because he's really probably running, I'm going to say, with a closed fist. So you're just going to see the knuckles. So I'm just going to take a 2-point line and draw a straight line. Take the virtual segment delete key and delete all these other lines. They're not necessary. And then we can do a lot of things. Let's measure that line and see how far it is. Parallel dimension tool, because it's at an angle. So it's only 0.07 of a, and this is where we could actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's smart fill this in and get it more the actual size. And if you remembered, I reduced it to 25%. Now I can left click, right click, turn it back into a hairline, and then change the object. Well, since I created a new object, I just have to, well, let's see how, we don't really remember how big it was. There's a 25%. Tell you what, let's make this back to 100%, and that makes our runner 7.2 inches tall. So we can just make it 7.2 inches tall to get kind of, well, that's bigger, but that doesn't really matter. I just wanted a bigger number to use. So now we're going to take the parallel dimension tool, and I could take the line measurement before. So now we're at 0.38. So if we bring in a calculator, 0.38 divided by 4 for 4 knuckles, we get 0.095. So let's draw an ellipse, 0.095. Let's take away our measurement. And this is just one way you could do it. I'm going to put a first knuckle like right there. And you kind of see what I'm doing. The knuckles are going to be pretty uniform, but we can change that. So we're going to grab the top and just have them kind of go down there, and I could probably hit the duplicate key and it would continue duplicating it. And just have it, and we could offset these a little bit. I'm just hitting the plus key on the keyboard, and you see they come out almost perfect. Now you could, take your nudge factor, set them pretty low, and we could nudge that one out up a little bit. We don't want to go too far. Just make that, that bigger knuckle a little bit bigger. When we do this now, we're going to have a space between them, and that really wouldn't matter. But let's take the pick tool and let's make this one just a hair bigger. Whoop. Make this one just a hair bigger. If we hold down the shift, it'll grow from the center. We want them kind of touching. We want all of them touching. So they're all touching now. So now we can take this virtual segment delete key and delete these lines. And see how good we did, if we did good at all. We've got a little bit of lingering lines. There's like a cross line, but we can delete that. We can probably delete a little bit more, delete a little bit more. And then you'd really want to fill it in again. And this is, a lot is depending on how big this is. I mean, if it's real small, these finger shapes aren't really going to matter. But if it's big, that might look too perfect. We did make one of them a little bit bigger, but I'm just thinking he's running with a closed fist and not fingers, but I could be wrong. Let's smooth this out a little bit, or just take the shape tool and let's get rid of that node. And then we could take that node and curve it in, and that node and curve it in, maybe move that out a little bit. That looks pretty good. Then the person didn't mention, but his hair's kind of messed up. And see, whoever sent me this file is actually putting in a point. I want no outline when I fill in my smart fill. So that way, when I go here, I have to left click and then right click in red because it's a cut line and mine's a hairline. Now, he didn't mention anything about his hair, but we lost some of the hair. It just kind of blurred out. So there's a lot of things you could do here, and you could grab that, and you could actually grab that and add more nodes, just a few more nodes, and then you could manually, just give them a little more hair blowing in the wind or whatever, more so like the drawing or the original. And, you could play around with that for a long time. And if you did it too much, that's our friend, the smoothing tool. I'd actually take away those nodes, maybe move that one up there. And then if you made it look too much like a saw blade haircut, you could always take our friend, the smoothing tool, and just grab it and just lightly smooth that out. And then, check his nose, because we did mess with his nose. We didn't mess with it. We cut it out, but it doesn't look good. It traced pretty good. That doesn't look too bad. Kind of hard to tell when he doesn't have hair. But, well, really, matter of fact, I did it to the wrong one. But if we take the Smart Fill tool now and fill it in, we've got a good looking hair and better fingers. That looks pretty good. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.